This is probably not PG. He adjusts his glasses and gets closer to the screen to watch the young man gripping her bare shoulder and slowly sliding his other hand up to her waist. Inches from his face, her breasts heave up and down. In a barely audible voice, the young man croaks, "Try deeper and slower." She sighs, "I'm getting lightheaded." The young man wipes away sweat from his forehead and continues, "How does this feel? Does it hurt?" "No," she says frigidly. He removes his hand, smiles nervously, and says, "You can stop breathing deeply now. Your spleen feels fine." The man watching the screen removes his glasses, shakes his head, and scribbles, "Spleen palpated on wrong side of the body." Next to him, more than a dozen doctors sit in front of computers lined up in neat rows, their hands cupping headphones like operators at a NASA command center. A ding is heard through the intercom, followed by the announcement, "Students, your time has ended. Please exit now." Moments later, all the monitors display empty exam rooms and everyone prepares to start the process all over again. This scenario plays itself out daily in medical schools across the globe. Actors willing to be prodded, poked, and groped by inexperienced, shaky hands are brought in to train medical students in simulated doctor-patient scenarios. The actors are called standardized patients, and they are in high demand. There are standardized patient conferences, newsletters, and associations. I even heard of a woman once who was flown to Europe on a regular basis to have pseudo pap smears and simulated breast exams performed. Her erogenous zones, fondled by the world's foremost medical experts, receive the kind of professional deference normally reserved for, well, porn stars. I came across this obscure profession after returning from a 2-year trip gallivanting around South America and Asia. Bored and in search of interesting ways to sell my body, the gig drew my attention, especially since I have never had the stamina or drive to turn tricks, and my aversion to needles and chafing eliminates plasma and sperm donation options, respectively. Getting paid to act as a diabetic, lunatic, manic-depressive, or hypochondriac in the name of education, while getting intimately touched by strangers, seemed like a win-win proposition. I loved my job, until the day I began my primary research on a story I was planning to title, "Simulated Rectal Exams, a Community Service or the World's Oldest Profession." That was the day I began to suspect maybe I had gone too deep into my career exploration endeavors. On what ended up being my last assignment, my profile sheet said I would be playing a father of 4 experiencing difficulty urinating and erectile dysfunction. Since these pesky problems usually come in threes, I was also notified my character's lesbian wife had recently left him. I did my best to get into character by channeling my inner Jerry Springer guest as I fidgeted with my hospital gown. She entered the exam room and introduced herself as my student doctor. Now, each student has her own style. This one quickly decides to open with the whodunit approach. "Where were you on the night the erectile dysfunction happened?" I quickly ran through a list of possible answers in my head, ranging from at the dog pound to the McDonald's drive-thru. Before I finally recalled my profile sheet, I replied, I was in bed, and then paused for dramatic effect. "It was the night my wife left me." I bury my head in my hands, and the fun begins.